And we are live. What is up, guys? Welcome to Sports Disaster, episode number 36. My name is Red Rubber Duckwin, or Duck for short. To my right is Zep, or actually to my left is Zep. Sorry, we've lost our sense of direction. Health and Reckoning are nowhere to be found. Health is getting ready for a driving test, and Reckoning, I think, is just going to show up late. We will have a couple more associates coming in, especially McGoat and Kirby. They're going to be talking some football. But for right now, and speaking of one of them, there's Kirby. How you
Hey,
doing?
Kirby.
Well,
We're still, by the way, everybody, we are going to be covering the Super Bowl in a little bit, but we have quite a bit more to discuss. And we'll
That's
start
right.
off with a big one that broke just yesterday, if not 2 days ago. The Edmonton Oilers firing head coach Dave Tippett amid the Oilers' struggles where they currently sit fifth in their division. The Oilers have two of the top scorers in the entire National Hockey League in Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. But as per usual, it's been their lack of depth and inefficient goaltending that has doomed them so far. So I want to ask your opinions on this, guys. What do the Oilers need to do? Because somebody here predicted they'd be a President's Trophy winner. If they want to even get to that chance, what do they have to do?
Well, right now, they're not even close to President's Trophy. I mean, all you got is Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and that's it. Can you think of anybody else on the Oilers? Oh, wait, no. You can't.
wait. President's Trophy winner. This Kirby smells cap.
Oh, yeah. It is Cap. Yeah, some people saying that the Oilers are President's Trophy winners. Now, if you have just McDavid or Draisaitl, you need that's like two good skaters out of 20. You need like 20 skaters to win a series in 6 games at least.
Yeah, 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, 2 goalies. That is 20. You're right. We're not even trying. You're getting it right. Nice work, Duck.
Hey, no problem. Because Tree did mention in one of his hockey videos from years ago. I mean, look at that. Cody CC is on the team, and they recently got Evander Kane, but they need more. You need to build winners around David and Draisaitl.
Kirby. Do you have anything to say about the Oilers and what do they need to do at this point? Kirby?
Anything?
They just gotta hope their defense somehow improves. Otherwise, they're going nowhere.
Absolutely.
All I can do.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing that's intrigued me about this team is that that's one of their weakest points. They're built like, dare I say, an 80s hockey team. And the problem is they're trying to be that 80s hockey team in 2022. You have to have a full team, not just rely on a bunch of scoring and your goaltending. Occasionally make a save. You can't do that anymore.
You can't.
It's like, to me, it just feels like we're back in the same situation we were in 2018 with that team. The only difference is there was far more hype coming into this season, dare I say. Because if we remember, the Oilers are coming off arguably one of the worst playoff defeats we've seen in a while, where they were heavily favored, and then they blew back-to-back 4-1 leads against the Jets in the first round.
Right. And Mayan is once again in the chat.
Oh, Mayan?
How you doing?
Okay, now with that out of the way, we have an even... Speaking of teams that really, really need some help, the Arizona Coyotes. Duck, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, right now, the Arizona Coyotes... What are you saying, Kirby?
They need more than help. They need to freaking move to Houston already.
Oh, yeah, Houston will take good care of them.
Anyways, Duck.
As Zep mentioned, Hi. Gonna lurk in the chat, says Mayan.
Thank you, Mayan.
Anyways,
Duck, go ahead.
The Arizona Coyotes are in one deep mess. Actually, that's putting it lightly. It's Pripyat tenfold down there in Houston, down there in Arizona. Right now, they're in the bottom two in the league, if not the worst team in all of hockey. And they have been the center of controversy throughout the whole entire season, especially in their arena. They've been they've been threatened to get kicked out of their own arena, Gill River Arena, for quite some time because they couldn't pay rent for some reason. Like, you're a hockey franchise, you should be able to bring in the big bucks. But then again, they haven't had that much good of a season since 2012 when they had a magical Western Conference Finals run. And since then, they haven't done anything. They were hoping for a good Diamondbacks feel-good story like in 2001. And that was the only championship that any team in Arizona has gotten in Phoenix or Glendale. Anyways, the arena deal was to move to Tempe into Arizona State University's hockey arena. Yes, they do have a hockey team. Shocker. It holds 5,000 seats, and the thing is, the NHL has approved such deal. This is basically going to be the San Diego Chargers move to LA hockey edition. That is all it's going to be. And honestly,
Gary Bettman isn't a clown. He's literally the entire circus.
yes.
Before I give my comments, Kirby, we'll let you put the Coyotes on blast here.
The Phoenix experiment has been a long failure. What else is there to say?
I'm not quite sure, because if we remember correctly, in their first years of being in what was then Phoenix, they shared an arena with the Suns. They were they managed to draw some people in, and it was successful. The reason why, they had a good core: Hobby Bulin, Talkett, Roenick, Kachuk, Numanen. They had quite the team on their hands. The only problem is, whenever they did make some progress, they ran into a team like the late 90s Red Wings or the Dallas Stars or the early 2000s Sharks.
Blues.
Actually, both, yeah, the Blues and the Sharks. But for them, problem has been, since that era, they've just kind of been struggling. First of all, to get fans. This is not new for them, as in 2007-8, it was threatened that they would move as well, but it was them or Atlanta. Glendale threw $35 million towards the Arizona Coyotes, or then it's the Phoenix Coyotes, to try and fix their situation, which helped push Atlanta over to what is now the Winnipeg Jets. And since then, since that run in 2012, they've been having a notable issue with attendance. So in theory, just moving them into the Arizona State stadium is pretty good. They can capitalize on their lack of fans by having them fill up the seats of that stadium. It's very, very suited for hockey, as collegiate hockey has the same regulations as the NHL. The one problem is, first of all, you're a professional team that's moving into a college stadium. Second, how are things so bad that you have to move into a college stadium? And third, when you have not paid when you can only just pay rent for 1 year, when you have a debt that far exceeds that 1 year, what does this say about how your team is managed? I don't quite think it's because we continuously joke about how they're owned by the league. If they were owned by the league would be hemorrhaging a lot more money than it is. But I think it's more on the fact that their ownership has been inconsistent at best. I wouldn't say sell the team, because you don't know who they're going to be bought by, but yeah, sell the team.
You know how to not get in this situation? If you would have stayed in Winnipeg back in '96.
I'm not sure. because at the time, because again, early in the run, it worked. Now, over 25 years later, it's not working, and that's
Right.
again power of hindsight really taints things. But Arizona, get help, get an exorcism, get something.
Yeah. They did make the playoffs in their first 4 years, but they did get bounced in the very first round a lot.
Including getting bounced in a game 7 by Anaheim.
Yeah.
Yep. They've only had one bright year, as I mentioned, 2012. They ended up losing to the Kings in the conference finals in 5 games.
Yeah, but again, their glory days were back in the era when they wore those Kachina uniforms, which is hence why they're back. Because again, you think of like Javi Bulin, Newman, and they even, if you can believe it, they actually had Danny Briere before in a move resembling the current Coyotes. They traded him.
Have you seen this new team with those Kachina jerseys? Yeah, good luck getting that magic back.
They look like the typical expansion team. The only problem is they're not an expansion team. They've been here for what is it now? Over 25 years.
Oh yeah, they've been in the desert for 24 of those completed seasons. Don't forget 05, they had a lockout.
Exactly. This is like not including lockout. This is their 25th. Since last year, they had all the commemorative patches for the 25th season, and they've been here since 96, 97. So,
All right.
with that being said, what's next, Duck?
Well, I'm going to go to one of your topics because you mentioned this on, what is that, Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. You wanted to bring up the situation in Beijing, which is why I included it in the thumbnail. We are halfway through the Beijing Olympics, shockingly. And Zep, I'm going to give you the floor for that one.
I'm going to have to look up and see what this is because since then things have evolved. But let me look this up for a moment.
Yes, Patrick, there's been another Beijing thing.
Yes, Patrick,
There's been plenty of Beijing things.
Okay, so the one thing I can say for Beijing that's been noted is the Olympic athletes have complained about like a lack of food, and also this article is coming to us from the Guardian. So just looking this up, they they've had issues with isolation with the ongoing COVID crisis. Um, and notably one of the Finnish competitors for the ice hockey team noted that they were being kept in quarantine despite not actually testing positive. They had their skiing rink in the shadow of a steel mill, which honestly looks like it could be a nuclear plant. And they've also had some issues with getting viewership in, as they're down, I believe it's somewhere between 20 and 27% in terms of total viewership. Go look that up. Plumbing temperatures. Yeah, they've had there's been all sorts of issues with getting the games underway. Viewership is at an absolutely ghastly low. And what's this is to me is
almost like it shouldn't have been there at all.
Exactly. And keep in mind there was discussion well before this, after the failure of the 2020 Olympic Games, should this even happen? And the answer we're seeing now is a resounding no, because it seems like they were woefully underprepared for what an Olympics requires. And also with the reports about how so many of the Winter Olympics arenas are basically left to rot after they're done. It's getting more and more of an issue of why do we keep this going? We don't exactly have a situation like we had in '84, where all it took is one spectacular Olympics in Los Angeles to help save it. Yes, I know the Olympics are heading to Los Angeles in 2024.
Correction. They're going to Paris in 2024. LA is going to get in 2028.
in 2028. Thank you, Duck. But even though Los Angeles is coming up, I don't think it'll be enough to save them because it's now more about um, the sustainability of what's being used, and especially since I'd say since the 84 Olympics, there's been a far greater focus on what this does. Because with the Rio Olympics, there's reports that came out afterwards that all the development they had for the Olympic Village, they tried to sell it as property, couldn't get a buyer. Tokyo, how much of that stuff is going to remain? Pyeongchang, how much of that stuff is going to remain? And infamously, the Greek Olympics, they're still paying for that, technically speaking. Not only with all the structures left behind, but the massive debts they've had to pay off.
Greece has been going broke for a while, but that's another topic entirely.
Yeah, it just feels like the Olympics are slowly running themselves out of town. And while it would be absolutely horrible to see that happen because so many people have dreamed of making the Olympics and we see so many people competing for the Olympics, the question of is this sustainable is being amplified this year. It's just honestly sad.
It is sad. I'm not even sure if we're going to make it to 2028, but I'm sure we will. Hopefully they can get their act together and produce a high quality product.
Again, we're simply hoping that this happens, and that's a problem. Okay, so
Hope is wasted on the hopeless sometimes.
all right, now, so Duck, anything we got to cover? Because I know we got somebody here who wants to start with football.
Well, before we do, I'm going to do a helve and look over the medal table for the Olympics right now. Right now.
Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, there's something else I forgot about that I want to mention to you. Brad Marchand did a thing. He punched
did.
In the game against the Boston Bruins. Brad Marchand was caught punching Penguins goalie Tristan Jarry during an altercation with them. For Brad Marchand, he is a bit notorious in the NHL and in hockey circles for being a bit of a pest, and that's putting it lightly. And because his punch on Tristan Jarry came with a whole altercation and some events and shenanigans earlier, including not being able to gift a puck to a fan earlier in the game, Marchand decided to find out, and he did find out to the tune of 6 games suspended.
Yeah.
What did he get suspended for?
He got suspended for punching Tristan Jarry. And it wasn't like a little bop. It was like he just nailed him.
Brad Marchand not be a total fucking tool bag challenge. Impossible.
Yeah. The problem is Marchand, he's hardly done anything controversial in the last couple of years until right now. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh my God, say it ain't so. He's relapsing. The rat is back. It's back.
Yeah?
The rat is back.
Hey, at least unlike in 2019, he's not licking people.
No, that was 2018 when he was licking people.
It was both.
Yeah, 2019. He just did a fantastic pose.
Or in the front room.
But also, something else to mention, this is a quick rapid fire. We had another head coach fired, and we got an interesting replacement. Dominic Ducharme of Helves Canadiens. They fired Ducharme and replaced him with former player Martin St. Louis.
Martin,
all right.
Yes, Kirby.
Are we ready to begin the football?
We will.
Not yet. We were talking about. We were just making one more hockey thing.
We were just making a brief mention. Rest in peace. The career of Dominic Ducharme from Martin St. Louis is now behind the bench.
I'm sure Martin St. Louis is going to be a good coach. I mean, he does have experience running his own teams, and he is a Stanley Cup champion himself, 04 with the Lightning. And he also did very well with the Rangers. I think he led them to the 2014 final, or did he?
He was
Did
on
he
the
retire after
team.
that?
He was one of the skaters. He played a role on the team.
And he was,
Okay.
and he it proved in that game that he was a leader during that run because he, especially against the Penguins, during that run, he played a game after one of his parents passed away, and they kind of rallied around him for that game. It was unbelievable. Sucked it was against us, but he did what he could.
Hey,
What?
at the end, you had to feel good for
They
him.
should be downstairs.
Oh,
They're in a box somewhere.
ah,
I wonder what's in the box somewhere. We're not
what's
going to know
what's
because I
what's
needed it.
what's in the box? The hopes and dreams of the Canadians not actually being terrible.
To think that this team was in the Stanley Cup final last year. Oh,
It's-
wait, but there's a giant asterisk beside it.
It's because there's a reason why they even made it. It's because all of the gambles seemed to work, and then Bergevin just kept gambling.
Yeah.
It's the gambler's mentality, as we've heard before. You keep going and going and going and going until you realize you can't go anymore because you've sold your house, sold your car, sold everything except yourself. And that's basically what happened to Bergevin. He's finally sold out. Now he's gone because of how much gambling he's had to do.
Right. All right.
And
I'd
now
say we head to the mass-eulogy. Unless
we had
Kirby's
now
not.
and now
Unless
we had
Kirby's done.
Yep, we're now heading to football. Kirby, you there?
Kirby.
Because Kirby
He's still looking for the box, apparently.
what was mentioned beforehand is they want to give a brief recap of everything else that happened with the other teams. But there's more than just that going on. The NFL is in some deep trouble.
There he is. I can hear him.
You can't put stuff out on.
No, I think he's still doing some stuff.
Yeah, he still is.
But in the meantime, we have something to cover that is football related before we get to Kirby eulogizing the teams that just didn't make it, and that is the ongoing issue with the Washington football team, now known as the Washington Commanders. With that team, it was reported that Dan Snyder and the NFL would have a commission internally investigate the issues that have been going on, which includes a toxic workplace environment, numerous cases of sexual assault, and just dare I say general shittiness. It went to Congress because this is being congressionally investigated, and the internal investigation was axed. So here's my question: we know this is going to be congressionally investigated, does something like this that could wreck the entire league overshadow the biggest game of the season?
Right now, if you've seen the news, there's hardly anything covering it. I mean, the main focus right now is the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl only. But after the Super Bowl, it does have a chance to go back into national attention. Because right now, nobody wants to focus on the Washington football team, or the Washington Commanders, or the Washington, you know what. Nope, whatever you call them. They want to talk about the Los Angeles Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals for now. As soon as the game is over, that's when it will start.
I agree, because we've seen this before where the NFL tries to sweep major issues like this under the rug. The Ray Rice case from 2014 being 2014 or 15, I'll have to check, being the most noted. But with their habit of just trying to sweep these major events under the rug like this, with with the Super Bowl being as big as it is, what they're hoping for is a game that attracts millions of people, and I mean record numbers across all platforms. What they don't want is another 13-3 game like what happened in 2018. Tuck, you had something?
Yep, and you were right the first time it was 2014 for Ray
Yeah,
Rice.
2014. But to me, this overshadows anything going on because the Washington football team, first of all, their owner has had a reputation of not exactly being the right man in charge of a team like that. He has never, and it took a spot, as I think I've said before on this podcast, it took it took the sponsor of the stadium threatening to pull funding before he even considered changing the name from from the name they had before they became the Washington football team. They've also botched the rebrand with the Washington Commanders name being basically rushed out by all accounts. You have the issue of retiring Sean Taylor's number in a sham ceremony they were where it's basically just a spot in a logo where they have special guests or family of players on the field. Um, and it was a rushed. Dare I say it was rushed, and it was incredibly mangled. This team is definitely not. You could waste an entire day looking into the horrible situation with the Washington football team, and I'm going to say good luck if you do, because it's quite a lot. But being that this is being congressionally investigated for the culture of fear and the numerous cases of harassment filed, if the NFL can distract everybody with the Super Bowl, then they feel like they've done their job, even though it's going to come back and bite them. If it's a game that's not really much of anything, where will the focus shift? And even with that, if they continue to try and sweep this under the rug, they will. But this is a congressional investigation. When you have to go to Congress or somebody up higher and have this looked into, there's no way you can just sweep this under the rug. You can't even settle this out of court with something as bad as this. Washington, you're screwed. You take Dan
Let's put it
Snyder,
lightly.
you're screwed. And to the football people who think, man, this is just the culture, you get used to it. Quit thinking that, or you're next. I don't say
And
that lightly.
Zep, that's putting it lightly. They are not just screwed. There's plenty of missiles pointed at their heads, and we're just getting ready to press the button. That's how bad it is.
They've had this neon target painted on their back for a while. Simply saying they're screwed is is the only word I can come up with, because there's no word I can use to describe the state of the league. There's no word to describe the state of the Washington football team. And unless there's a game that will have everybody talking about it for months, like for example, run the ball from the Super Bowl with the Saints and with the Patriots and Seahawks. Unless there's another one of those, NFL, prepare for Judgment Day. Good luck. All right,
Looking luck indeed.
Kirby, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, so
It's
ladies and
time.
gentlemen, it's time to eulogize some teams. Kirby,
Let's start with the Steelers. Well, there were two eulogies in the Steel City. One for the Steelers season and one for Captain Fat Fuck. May whoever forever be a leader of men in retirement. Really not much else to say. You were blown the hell out. Anyone else want to go?
I do. Because to me, I've mentioned before in this podcast how how it's Big Ben whose reputation off the field has helped ruin any chance of me being a Steelers fan or even a football fan. With him gone, it's like now I kind of have hope that I can maybe, just maybe, get into the league and perhaps the Steelers. But that is a big maybe because what's to come after Big Ben, they haven't planned for. They don't have any preparation. They have a quarterback who will be coming in that has so far not worked in the system that was catered to, you guessed it, the quarterback that's leaving. They also have a GM who's leaving. Keith Butler, their defense coordinator, is leaving. They have a whole load of free agents that they have to deal with, including Juju Smith-Schuster. Steelers, welcome to Limbo. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Steelers got a Super Bowl with tickets. As said by my tag. Here's the thing. For the Steelers, this really was their last chance. Because Ben may not want to admit it, but he's cooked. He is so overcooked. He's way past well done. That's saying something. And Najee Harris does show promise. The defense is better than ever. You need to fix that O-line, though. That is what you need to fix. If so, Najee Harris can get 1,000 yards half as fast. Twice as fast. I can't talk today.
It's all right. I'm relying on a bit of caffeine myself. But I will say, other than Harris, Hayward, and Watt, what else is there? Maybe Freiermuth?
Yeah, Pat
Maybe.
Freiermuth has had a
Maybe
good,
Claypool,
he's had an okay season.
but that's it. Steelers, welcome to Limbo.
You better
All
hope
right,
Kenny
Kirby.
Pickett falls to you, or get a decent QB,
All right.
or any
Who's
other
next?
QB.
Now, next to the time that actually, was painful because it's my team's turn to get eulogized.
The Eagles.
You heard all the talk of nobody wants to play the Eagles in the playoffs. Well, Tampa
Wait.
sure as hell did.
Hold on
The
a second.
The defense could only hold out for so long, and eventually it collapsed.
Yep. I'm going
It
to say
collapsed so hard. It was the story of the season. The offense completely selling out the defense, not being able to do a shred of anything without playing a bad team. You came into the season with just as many questions as answers, and honestly, you go into the offseason with the same thing. You've got promise, but there's problems at key positions.
I think with the Eagles team, it's really tough to gauge them. Yes, they were the weakest team in the playoffs by metrics, but to me, this is a team that feels like it's starting to develop something. They moved on from their run in 2018 where their run to the Super Bowl 52. I forget what year that was, but it feels like they moved on from that core and they're still trying to build. Howie Roseman, their general manager, hasn't been able to help them, but Nick Sirianni is the only rookie head coach in 2021 who made the playoffs. It feels like they have something, but this is their year to assess what do they have. The fact that they made the playoffs in that year is good, but it just means that they have something that can be better. It's not like the Bears where they fluked into the playoffs because the Eagles had to get in through the wild card. It feels like again there's something there, but they need to keep building. What that is, I'm not exactly sure, but is there promise? Absolutely.
And
It's just that they ran into a
clinched their
juggernaut.
And they already clinched their spot ahead of time. And the thing with the Eagles, your fans are still terrible. And the Eagles fans when they played against the Bucks in the playoffs, they were horrendous. They complained about Brady and the officials, but the biggest obstacle ended up being themselves. They turned the ball over too many freaking times, and that is why you ended up losing. So, Eagles. Goodbye.
I just think that even with that being said, had they not run into a juggernaut, they could have been an upset team.
They could have.
I'm going to say that had they played like a San Francisco or Dallas, they could have done something. Just that they happen. It's just that they
I don't
happen to
know.
run.
I don't know about Dallas. They beat us. They beat our asses consistently.
No. We're going to get to Dallas later, but Dallas, whenever there's a in division rivalry like that, where you have Dallas and Philadelphia playing each other, anything can happen.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, I'd say out of a 10, you run it 10 times, I'd say the Eagles win 5.
Yeah, that's the thing with the regular season. It's just for seeding and finding out where you're at. When
All
it
right.
comes to the playoffs, that's it. Clean slate, and you got to get to business.
Okay, Kirby, who's next?
How about them Cowboys?
Oh boy,
This ought to be fun.
You guys were a weird team this year, especially considering the fact that you won a division. There are times where you look like you were going to beat the world out of teams, and then times where they beat the world out of you. And against Dallas, San Francisco threw you a lifeline. And what did you do? What did you do? You ran the ball with 14 seconds left with no timeouts.
womp womp.
Want to know the bad thing? Not only was this approved by offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, approved by, guess who? Mike McCarthy. Maybe Packers fans were right. You shouldn't have hired him. And with that, before I send you to your grave, Zep.
I'm just gonna say this: the Cowboys, in my opinion, are the greatest case of crying over pennies while losing dollars, because they complain about the officiating not being able to set the ball as they legally have to do before the last play of the game. But they not only were they the most penalized team, but they gave Dallas on their up to the final drive. They gave them an additional 8 seconds. They gave them 8 seconds, and
They still can't do anything.
Mike McCarthy. We thought that we heard them say all we need is Dak Prescott and we can do something. They have Dak Prescott. They have a decent season. They have some roadblocks, but we think maybe, just maybe, there's something for them to actually have some grounds, say something. But no, we get to the playoffs and realize their head coach Mike McCarthy is in reality just an anchor to this team. And we also realize that this team cannot play postseason football without having to play a team that's injured or weaker or incredibly weak. So Cowboys, how about them?
Yes. On a broadcast that was meant to be for children, it was the Cowboys fans and the organization that needed a babysitter. Yet they should understand that the NFL is not running the daycare. They're not here to make you happy. And with that being said, I'm going to send you to the grave with these 4 words. How about them Cowboys? All right.
Okay, who's next? Kirby.
Let's go with let's go with the other side, the other 6th seed, the Patriots. Oh boy, what they did to you. My gosh. Every Patriots hater and every freaking AFC East fan opponent probably had a freaking collective orgasm watching you, of all teams, get blown out on the playoff field for once.
If there was another reason that toilet paper went away, it was this one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The defense, which was supposed to be the strength of the team, couldn't get a single stop. Mac Jones looked very much like a rookie who can't carry a team. The only reason you probably made the playoffs in the first place is because you have the best head coach the game has ever seen. And even he couldn't solve all your issues.
Right.
To me, what this said is, again, like with the Eagles, it says that they're on their way. Yes, the defense was a weak point for them, especially in the playoffs, but you have to keep in mind a lot of the guys that they do have, they're still leftovers from their Super Bowl runs a few years ago. So what they need to do is replenish. And I know they've been drafting, I know that's been a weak point for them, but you can't count out a Bill Belichick team, especially with as much promise as Mac Jones showed. Again, I'm not going to say they're completely dead yet, because, first of all, they made the playoffs with a rookie quarterback, and they didn't even need the main quarterback to get blood-sowed. It feels like they're starting to creep back into the picture, and the object in the rearview mirror is closer than it appears. I have a bad feeling they're going to be back sooner rather than later.
Right.
Yeah, boy.
To me, that Bills Patriots game was just one giant therapy session for all the AFC East and every other team abound. With that, Patriots, I know you have the potential to build a win around Mac Jones, but until then, goodbye.
Again, I'm not going to say they're dead until they're buried 10 feet in the ground.
Not even 6 feet, but 10 feet. Wow.
Because
All right,
we've buried them 6 feet under, and somehow they came back.
That's because they have Brady. Now, good luck. Kirby,
who's next?
The others. Then now we're gonna go to the 5 seed and the Cardinals. What the fuck was that? Like, literally. I know the Eagles got absolutely shit stomped, but you want to participate in the getting shit stomped challenge? Because that's exactly what you did. The fact of the matter is, you actually beat these guys in the regular season. What the hell happened? Did the team just? Oh no, wait! It's what happens with every other Cliff Kingsbury team. You start out strong, but then you flounder. You got to question if this is the guy that can lead you guys. You absolutely have to ask that question. Is Cliff Kingsbury going to lead your team to the promised land? Or is he just another obstacle in your way?
As a coordinator, I think this guy could be great. I repeat, as a coordinator, because you have to keep in mind he worked under Sean McVay. That's all right. He had to deal with Patrick Mahomes in college, and that offense helped get Mahomes put on notice. But what happened to them year in and year out? They had a horrible defense and a late season collapse. As an offensive coordinator, I think Cliff Kingsbury could help revolutionize the game. And we also have to keep in mind that I'm going to probably make some fans cringe at saying this, but this is a guy who could make Johnny Manziel actually work had he been in the league at the time. Unfortunately, not only is he not in the league now, but Cliff Kingsbury is dealing with a lot of other teams who have adapted to that style, and keyword, they adjust as the season goes on. And when Cliff Kingsbury has a team, Texas Tech, Arizona, doesn't matter. At the end of the season, people have adjusted to his style. They know what he's going to do. They figure him out. So what do? You don't rely on him to take you anywhere. You made the playoffs, yes, but you came close to being out of them and kind of got lucky that, you managed to deal with a conference that tried tripping over itself time and time again. Congratulations, Cardinals. You went from 60 to 0 in 2 seconds flat. Cliff Kingsbury.
You are still the NFL's retirement home. Not even J.J. Watt or a new Kyler Murray can save you. And for that, it's time to say goodbye. Now, Kirby, before we go on to the next playoff team, the Raiders, you're doing just the playoff teams, right?
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, maybe in like another one we'll do brief what the other teams can do later.
Right.
We'll save that
Absolutely.
for. All right, Raiders. So Derek Carr finally gets to play in a playoff game. Considering the last time his knee was blown off, and what do? You completely sell him out. I'm talking blown cover. I'm talking about blown offensive line assignments, drop passes aplenty. Plenty. Your offensive line can't block a nosebleed. Yet at the end of the day, you still had a chance. You still had a chance to win the game. You wouldn't be in that position had you caught passes, blocked adequately for Carr. But you chose to do none of that. Carr can only take you so far. Derek Carr can get you so far.
I don't think so. Because to me, the Raiders seem like a team that have been going through quite a lot. Let's give you a rundown. Head coach John Gruden fired. They lose Henry Ruggs, one of their fastest guys. They lose Josh Jacobs due to DUI. They lose. I'm forgetting the name of another player, but they lost another key piece of their offense due to off-field issues. But my goodness, this team, like Rich Bisaccia, he did well to help them get there, and they were riding momentum after the passing of the legendary John Madden. But they're a team I think that I can give them a pass for getting destroyed. They didn't really belong here. They're still dealing with the absolute dumpster fire that Mike Mayock and John Gruden left them in. And now it's time for them to try to figure out who they are and who do they want to be moving forward in the second post Gruden era. They just felt like they didn't belong because of everything that had been done to them this season. And for a team that didn't belong, for them to compete against the eventual AFC champion, I give them props, even though they didn't win. Just take this loss and figure out where you want to go from here. I will say no more.
All right, now it's time for the next
No
round.
way, I didn't burn
Wait, hang
them
on.
yet.
Duck.
Raiders, I appreciate the chaos on the last play of the regular season, literally. But unfortunately, you couldn't keep the curse of Bo Jackson with the Bengals alive. So, unfortunately, it's time to say goodbye. Because that was the playoff curse. Because the Bengals, during their last trip before this, 91, they gave Bo Jackson a career-ending injury in the divisional round. And that sent off a potential curse, one that will withstand generations of Bengals fans, the curse of Bo Jackson. The playoff win part has been lifted. Now, can they win it?
And especially in an era without John Gruden, who, if we can remember correctly, praised guys like Brandon Whedon and Nathan Peterman, as well as Johnny Football.
And Christian Hackenberg. Don't forget Hackenberg.
I mean, of them, Hackenberg actually still has a shot, but John Gruden, get back to the booth if they even allow you there. If not, just get out and stay out. But speaking of teams that are out and unfortunately are staying out for the rest of the season, let's continue with the eulogies. Kirby,
The
what's
Buccaneers.
next?
Sorry, Tampa, you didn't get to play the Eagles this week. You had to play a real team.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Bucs, you did come back from a 27-3 deficit. Unfortunately, you were 1 point short of the magic number, 28-3.
You played a wrong. You also, when you came back, picked the wrong time to play 2 throws, 1 cup.
Oh,
get out of here, Kirby.
Boo! I'm just gonna say this. I am in this is the game where if you put in simulations, 9 times out of 10, the Bucks win. This was just that 10th time. Both of them were incredibly high-powered offenses. Tom Brady, during that comeback, was helping to carve up the Rams secondary. And I feel like they had the weapons to move forward. They were just missing a wide receiver. I wonder what happened to the last guy they had. And again, it feels like that was a game where some team had to lose, and the Rams with the fury of remembering Super Bowl 50, that Super Bowl where they lost 13-3, channeled their inner Tom Brady and beat Tom Brady. So Rams, you did well, and Bucks, you may have tried to build a super team and continue that going, but you face the realities that all super teams face. Sometimes you just run into that team, which is one better.
Bucks. All I have to say is this. You were one short of the magic number. You got Cooper cupped. Brady is now gone. And with that, goodbye. Never come back again.
I don't think they're gone yet. I refuse to believe that this is really it for Tom Brady. Since within less than a week of him retiring, there are already reports, thanks to the NFL media, that says, he's retired, but on his comeback, never say never. He might actually do this. He might. And I'm not going to. And here's the thing: with Tom Brady being out of the league, I'm not going to, immediately, I don't believe it. I won't believe it until some time has passed. But until this thing is buried 12 feet under, I'm still going to just say, give it time. Because there will always be that team that wants to put a face on a billboard, and they'll probably do it with Tom Brady.
Yep.
There will always be that team.
All right. Next.
The next seed, the other side. Green Bay? What the fuck? Why do you why are you? Why do you consistently let us down when it comes to the playoffs and when it matters? Why do you do this? Do you enjoy this? Do you enjoy being a disappointment to everyone? Do you enjoy absolutely us memeing on you that you're choke artists and you haven't done anything worth a damn since you won the Super Bowl? This time Rodgers can't blame any. You have to actually, blame Rodgers this time because Rodgers did not play well. But then again, your special teams, oh boy, with what they put on the field was an absolute spectacular, and I mean spectacular, way of how not to do special teams and show how that one unit can break the entire game for a team. Absolutely. Yes, Rodgers was bad. The special teams was even worse. And the defense decided to break when it truly mattered. This is probably your last shot since Rodgers is probably leaving, and guess what? You're in big time cap hell.
Yep. For over $44 million in terms of the cap. And to me, this is just funny because there was all this talk about how, Aaron Rodgers is going to leave, how he wants out. There's a whole issue with him being immunized, and how the NFL media just, they were all over it for a week, and then decided, maybe not. And again, their defense just decided to take a trip to Los Angeles early. The only problem is they were in the Super Bowl. To me, this is just the funniest thing this whole postseason. If you're a fan of Schadenfreude, because there was so much talk about how they're going to do it. They're going to give Rodgers his last ride. They're going to crush everybody in their way. They forgot there's actually 2 rounds you have to play to get there, being number 1 seed, and you got smacked by San Francisco. San Francisco, mind you, came in as a wild card. Yes, they beat Cliff. Yes, yes, they beat Dallas, and that's pretty much expected because Dallas in the postseason isn't exactly success. But then you thought you were just going to be able to say, "I'm Green Bay," and San Francisco would and just scurry away.
No.
Narrator,
Get screwed.
narrator. That did not happen.
It not only did it not happen, but San Francisco played the reverse card. You, their special teams decided to show you what it's like to be a Super Bowl champion. Robbie Gould, especially again, you gotta bless Robbie Gould for the work he did. But the entire special teams for Green Bay just decided, we'll just take a trip to Los Angeles along with that defense because they probably thought they were playing the Pro Bowl. I should rephrase that and say they went to Vegas and they gambled, went all in, and came up with bankruptcy.
Not only just bankruptcy, but homelessness and all that shit. Packers, this was your last chance. And I mean it. And guess what happened? Punt is blocked. Kick is up. You lost. Goodbye. And
Have fun watching
way,
Aaron Rodgers in Denver.
you're fucked.
Have fun at watching Aaron Rodgers in Denver because that's probably where he's winding up.
If he's not going to Pittsburgh because they need another ancient quarterback.
No.
Hey,
if Pittsburgh does get Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna get noise complaints and all that.
I'm predicting that I'm predicting, calling ahead of time, Aaron Rodgers. He'll be gone from Green Bay, and he'll just and because he's already won a Super Bowl, all they can offer him is money. So a team that has money is going to give him a lot of it.
He's here with some snacks. And speaking of which,
okay, Kirby, who's next to eulogize?
And now we're going to
mass eulogy health.
Now we're going to eulogize the Titans. Your team has acquired everything you could ever want. You've got a great running game, great wide receivers, solid tight end, competent offensive line, an up-and-coming defense, but this game highlighted what the league has been trending to and something that you don't have right now, a high-end quarterback. Tannehill's good, but he's not going to get you to the promised land. The NFL's been putting a high emphasis on high-end arm traits, and honestly, Tannehill just doesn't have that. You got to figure that part out, Titans. You got to figure out what you're going to be. Because if you don't, and continue to just try and kick the can down the road and say maybe he'll figure it out, you're done. Have fun with that massive cap hit he brings as well.
Okay. I don't really think so because with the Titans, to me, it felt like they never were able to mesh because they were unanimous. I'd say they were pretty much winners of the injury pool. And by the time they all got healthy, it was for that one game. So you don't really have that ability to mesh together in the first place because it is just one game. And you're expected to do that as a number one seed in a conference that basically tried to collapse on itself. And you're doing it against a team riding some momentum after winning their first playoff game since 1990. To me, it just felt like the Titans, in any other year, they could actually do something, just not this year. And they're built like a team. They are built like a team of old, in which the quarterback isn't the most valuable position. And to be fair, that can work if you have everything around it meshing well, like say the 2000 Ravens or the 2015 Broncos. All you really need to do is have everything meshed together and click. And especially make sure when the postseason hits, get into extra gear. Otherwise, you'll find out what happens just like you did this year. Instead of going far, you'll only be going as far as your couch. Goodbye.
Elf, anything to say before I bury these guys?
You know what? I'm going to eulogize a different team as of this point.
Actually,
if you guys are,
if you're going to do that, then I'm going to go ahead and bury the Titans here. Look,
just
guys,
team by team.
it's Oldhead. It's O. Henry and his band of You're Fucked.
Okay.
Who's next, Kirby?
All right, hang on. Can I
Bills.
do my eulogy on the Dolphins?
We're going to do
Dolphins.
the playoff teams for now.
Okay.
We'll,
But
we'll get to the
okay,
debrief
so
in
what
the
team are we
offseason.
on now? The
We are on the Buffalo Bills.
God damned.
Yep, it's time for the greatest game.
To be fair, I'm gonna sum it up in the simplest point.
This was one of the best playoff games that the NFL had in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Two gun-slinging quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, absolutely slinging it, and having an absolutely epic playoff battle. Here is the next problem that you face, though. The Buffalo Bills did not get the ball first in overtime. You know what happens next. Mahomes, hold on, ahead of myself. The Bills take the lead with a few seconds to go. So, what should Buffalo do? Should they pooch kick it or kick it through the end zone? Common thinking says pooch kick it and take off time. Guess what they didn't do? They didn't punt. They didn't take off time. They decided to just bunt the ball downfield and give Patrick Mahomes way too much deep room and time to make plays. And then Harrison Butker kick a game-tying field goal. That touchdown will be the last time Josh Allen touches the ball as Mahomes does Mahomes things and walks you guys off. It's a shame. It was a great game. And yes, the overtime rules may be crap, but you had your own chances. Not to mention,
to me, it just feels like this is, again, one team had to lose that game. As Kirby mentioned, that was a high-powered offense. The defense decided to head to Los Angeles with the way that game went. But to me, it feels like It feels like the Chiefs are the only thing standing in the way of the Bills, making a run to the Super Bowl. Because the past 2 years, when they've been on fire, been running the show, been an absolute treat to watch, they've had to face Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. If they don't have to face the Chiefs, I think the Buffalo Bills could go to the Super Bowl, if not even win one, because that's been the only thing standing in their way. It's how do you stop an unstoppable force with an even more unstoppable force? And if you get rid of that more unstoppable force, then the unstoppable force is indeed unstoppable.
Here's the thing. This game came down to not playing defense for 13 fucking seconds, losing a coin toss, and then forgetting how to play defense after that. Bills, that was a good game. Unfortunately, the Chiefs had a greater and smarter game. So unfortunately, Bills, you do have a dangerous team. And can't wait to see you return in September. But until then, enjoy being 6 feet under for 6 months.
They will be back. We cannot doubt that. Can they? But the question is now, can they go further? That's the what if.
They do have a team to do it.
They do. It's just again who they face. Kirby. Next up.
Next up is, ironically, the Chiefs. What the fuck? You were going so great. You got 21-3. Joe Burrow was, and then before the half, he decided to get too cute and decided to call a play with whatever the hell that was, and you got stopped at the goal line. Instead of, kicking the field goal would have been a better option at that point. You also have you have a fullback at quarterback, essentially. Why not just send him up the middle? It's better than whatever else you had. And of course, the full read happens in the second half. But thankfully, it doesn't happen enough as Butker kicks the field goal, and you actually win the coin toss. And then Mahomes threw. What do you mean Mahomes threw an interception? You mean to tell me that they went full read again? So it's back? Fuck! I thought we were over this. Chiefs. They kick the game-winning field goal and go to the Super Bowl. That could have been yours. It's a shame to see, but that's the way it goes, I guess.
I have a question for the Chiefs fans out there. You guys remember last year when the Houston Texans, not last year, but the year before, when the Houston Texans had that massive lead and they blew in 10 minutes? Welcome to the other side of that coin. You got, all of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes can't throw a football unless it's it to another player. Your offense can't do anything other than go backwards, and your defense decides, let's just we're already heading to the Pro Bowl. Let's just book our flight and go there. They probably got some cheap air too, because that's the kind of day Burrow was having in the second half. Lots of yardage in the air and on the ground. Congratulations, Chiefs. You've engineered one of the greatest chokes in recent memory, and you've dealt with them before. You've dealt with one from Houston. How's it feel being on the other side of one, huh? I know, Andy Reid, he has that legacy up until the Super Bowl of doing that, and we did with Alex Smith, but now Patrick Mahomes has one of those on his record now. Ooh, this is juicy for somebody who sees them as a team you can't stand and want to see just not do anything.
Chiefs, congratulations. You ran into a team that is able to play defense for 13 seconds, and you got into your own way after you went up 21-3. However, that's not the main issue here. It's the family around Patrick. More specifically, the fiance and brother. Because you have the fiance dumping champagne all over the Chiefs fans, whether they wanted it or not. And you have Jackson Mahomes' brother pretending that he's frickin' James Brown in all of his TikTok videos. Guess what? You're just as annoying as your future sister-in-law and everyone else. So, Chiefs, get fucking humbled, will you? Congratulations, you missed it.
No, they missed it like they missed a chance to actually do something in the second half.
Hey.
And speaking of teams that
Guess what? I'm forcing you to.
The Niners, you're next.
Speaking of teams that can't do anything in the second half, Kyle Shanahan's Niners. Kirby, take it away.
So you guys actually got off to a pretty decent start. You get up 17-7, but then Kyle Shanahan decides to get in his own way again. Well, gee, where have we seen this before? The team completely falters in the second half, but wait, Matt Stafford's throwing up a prayer. Jaquiski Tart is getting under it, and what happened to his hands? This is why you play defensive back, my dude. That drive wound up being costly as they got points on it, and they would eventually take the lead at some point. So now it's a third down, and the 49ers and Jimmy, what do you do? Jimmy Garoppolo, what the fuck was that? No, literally, what the fuck was that? I have no words for what that last pass was. And if I had any words, they'd be all over the floor. What? What was that? I have no idea. I understand the running back had it in his hands, but you still should have taken the sack and lived to play another down, my dude. Awareness. You didn't have it. Your awareness was 0 on that play. And that might be your last play as a 49er, as who knows what the hell happens in the offseason.
I'm just going to say this. The San Francisco 49ers finally ran into a team that did not know how to get into their own way. Yeah, the first half didn't look good with the Rams, but they adjusted and played the reverse card on you. You faced the Dallas, who's led by a head coach not exactly known for playoff success and more fluking his way into playoff success because of good talent. You play the Packers, whose special teams helped doom them and who have a lot of players who just want to go to Las Vegas and play in the Pro Bowl and not actually be there. And now you actually have to face a team that's not going to get in their way and that has ambitions of their own. What do you think was going to happen? That they just let you walk all over them? No, they have ambitions. They have dreams. They want a Super Bowl. Even don't let the score deceive you. The Niners were overpowered. Like even though the last two games, you could also say that the Niners were facing tougher opponents. With this one, they're facing the toughest opponent yet, and for them to come up short, it's expected. But also, I'm just going to say this: don't trade Garoppolo. I know he had a bad season. I know you see the future in Trey Lance, but from what I've seen of Lance this season, who's going to be the successor, the dude's still pretty undercooked. Give him time to develop, or he will become the next Trubisky. I'm going. If you let him develop and let him do it properly, great. You have to keyword let him develop.
All right. Before I go on, Helv is saying that he's cleaning up the dog right now.
All right, you know what time it is. It
Wait.
is time
Duck has to do.
I need my say, and I need to bury this team. You had a magical postseason run with a guy that needs no introduction. Besides, oh shit, you going Debo who? Debo. And unfortunately, you needed more than Debo. You made far too many simple mistakes in the NFC Championship game. But you do have a very promising team, despite Kyle Shanahan being your head coach. So Niners, I think you'll be back. Until then, we'll see you in 6 months.
And I again say, like everybody's saying, there's the rumors about where Jimmy Garoppolo go. Key thing, Niners, unless you can find somebody who's also got the experience and can let the young guy develop, don't just check him to the fire yet. You've done that this season. I wasn't impressed by what I saw from Lance. If you think this guy is going to be the guy to get you any further than where you are, he's not there yet. Don't drink the stupid juice. Otherwise, that stupid juice will come back on you in not the best way. What's up, Kirby?
Oh, that was basically it. We're about to move on to the big teams. Two teams that are playing in the bowl themselves.
Well, and Helv has made it back in time.
So we have
Now it's time for our predictions.
So now we have a tale of two teams in somewhat opposite directions. Well, opposite trajectories, sorry. You have the Cincinnati Bengals, who are the future of the league, have a promising quarterback in Joe Burrow. They've got promising weapons, great players overall. Now the problem comes. Now in lies another problem. Here comes they've made an unprecedented run to the Super Bowl. In which, honestly, everyone seemed like they were picking against them in every game so far. And it doesn't seem like that team is going to stop anytime soon. If they're going to win this game, then that offensive line is going to have to play the game of their lives. And then some. Because you're up against the present. A team trying to win it right now. A team with a shorter window than yours. In the LA Rams. Who went to say they went all in would be selling it short. This team absolutely did that. And then some. Getting the likes of Matt Stafford and Von Miller. This was purely the all-in push. So in some ways, this might feel like a game they can't lose. Because who knows if this team is going to get another prime shot like they do right now. Who knows if that team gets that shot. And who knows what happens from there. So this team, it feels like they're playing a game they can't lose. It feels like they have to get this done this year, or who knows what will happen from here.
So, Kirby, what is your prediction?
My prediction is this. Joe Burrow and the Bengals are going to get their ring eventually. I feel like this team is destined for greatness. But I just don't see it this year. LA, I like it. I don't think this is the best matchup for them. They're playing a top pass rush. They're playing a
It's health.
Sorry,
That's how
I'm tinkering
Yeah.
around because
yeah.
Zep's asking me to move a mic.
Yeah, it's just because
You're playing the likes of Aaron Donald,
It's this, I guess.
Aquanra, Leonard Floyd,
Oh.
DJ Reader, and not to mention the aforementioned Von Miller. So now this team, I feel like they've got promise, and they're going to get that chance at some point eventually. It's just not going to be this year.
I agree. I think if we can make some parallels, it reminds me of the Bucks team last year because they built up a Super Bowl. As you can remember, they got Fournette, they got Brady, they got Gronk. They already added on. They added what was already there with guys like Vita Vea. I believe Ndamukong Suh was already there. If not, he was added. They had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They were a stacked team, and they added superstars. This Rams team feels the same way. They already had superstars like Aaron Donald. I believe it's Woodward. I'm trying to remember the guy who just won Man of the Year. I'm drawing a blank on his name. What they did, they took a great team, added more to it. It feels like this is their all-in year. They're trying to push for something better. I just don't know if they can do it because they're facing a Bengals team that's not only been gambling with house money all postseason, especially after beating the Raiders. I just don't know because a super team like that, there's either two ways it ends up going. It ends in a championship, or they end up painfully short. And yes, they made it all the way to the Super Bowl. That's great. Can they get it done against a team that's incredibly hungry and, dare I say, pretty young with the Bengals, excuse me. Old habits die hard. Okay.
All right. I'm excited for this Super Bowl. The fascinating thing about the Bengals and Rams is that both of these teams are equally as good as one another. You got, on one end, you got an up-and-coming QB in Joe Burrow, a.k.a. Joe Burr. This guy has the potential to be the NFL's new catnip. He already has plenty of weapons in Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and just about every other receiver that you can think of. And their defense is just as good. You got Logan Wilson leading the team in tackles and interceptions. And you got Sam Hubbard, who hasn't been talked about as much, but deserves a lot of recognition as well. And you got a very nice kicker in Evan McPherson, who has been driving the clutch all season long. Well, except for that Packers and Bengals game, but that's besides the point. On the other end, you got Matthew Stafford, a guy who couldn't win a Super Bowl in Detroit or even a playoff game. He finally gets a clean slate, a new opportunity to win something. He didn't just run with it, he threw with it. He has been absolutely phenomenal this season. And with weapons like Odell Beckham Jr. and the Offensive Player of the Year, Cooper Kupp, he's got every single opportunity to lead the offense somewhere. And on the defense, oh boy, that defense. Von Miller, Aaron Donald, all of them have been breathing down QB's necks all season long. And Jalen Ramsey, he's been playing out of his mind. And Jordan Fuller, he's already had a high caliber season. And Leonard Floyd has been the perfect supporting actor for Aaron Donald. And kicking wise, they got Matt Gay or Matt Homosexual, who has been absolutely clutch this season as well. You got two clutch teams who are able to overcome every obstacle in their own right or whatever's been thrown at them. For this one, this game just screams game-winning kick. It's going to come down to whoever has the ball in the last game, in the last play of the season. And to me, I think it's going to be an Evan McPherson game-winning kick. I'm going to say it's the Cincinnati Bengals winning 34-31.
I've got to make my prediction as well. I'm calling. While I hope that because the NFL's off-field issues will kind of taint this, I'm predicting that's not going to happen. It's going to be something in the vein of 44-42 Rams.
Wow.
Also, just as a side note, the kicker for the Rams that you mentioned, he was for a long time with the Buccaneers, didn't do that well, left them before the 2020 season so they could bring in Ryan Suckup, and now he's in Super Bowl. Not bad.
I got Rams 31, Bengals 23. Donald makes a few plays here and there, and the Bengals struggle with Cooper Kupp, but their time is coming. As I said, that team's time is coming. It just won't be this year.
All right. So, Helv, when you're finished with that, we'll hear your take. But I also want to say, for the second year in a row, there's a team playing at home in the Super Bowl. Last year, the Buccaneers played in their home stadium. This year, it's the Rams. And with that being said, Helv, what's your pick?
As of this point, I've been leaking it so far already. Our Duck Reckoning knows what I'm picking. And probably a whole lot of other people as well. But as of this point, I'm going to do a little prelude. You got two great teams. They're going at it. Some people are going to call it basically what he is calling a giant fisting. Or what I'm going to probably call it, a quarterback shitstorm and a half. I'm declaring it the latter. Or no score prediction for me. Push hard. Kitty goes roar, baby. I'm going Bengals.
Ooh. All right, so just to recap, Kirby and Zepp have picked Los Angeles, and Helv and I are riding the Burrow train, and Kitty goes meow for Cincinnati.
I see that game, as you said, Duck, coming down to the last play. I don't like both these teams are both. Dare I say they're both very impressive on the offensive front. Their defense has been pretty sneakily pretty good, and with both of them, it almost feels like they're looking in a mirror. The only difference is time. Will the experience of the Rams be able to beat the youth of the Bengals, or will Cincinnati have its first championship in the Super Bowl era? We shall see.
I'm gonna head on out, guys. It's been fun chatting with y'all.
Thank you, Kirby.
See you, Kirby.
And that being said, with the Super Bowl predictions out of the way, let's rag on some teams, shall we?
Let's do some shit staying in the league. Let's do it.
Oh,
all right.
Actually, you guys focused on the Olympics already while I was out, did you?
We briefly touched on that. Did. Yeah.
Why, you're gonna have the entire Olympics as a whole shit stay in the league?
Nah, I'm trying to think here because I didn't pay attention to what happened. I kind of paid attention to what happened last night. But did you guys cover the giant one?
NFL and the Washington football team.
Not that
Let's
one.
talking Olympics.
Olympics. The big, like the one thing in teams that's basically like, where the hell are the medals?
Oh, I don't think we covered that, but please, give him the floor. Let's let him talk about that.
Yeah, help.
I'm doing this. I'm doing the spotlight load out
Go
for
ahead.
this one.
Go for it.
So a while back, like this week, or I don't know, but anyways, one Russian Olympian who was on the Russian ROC team for the figure skating teams tested positive, not for COVID, but for a banned drug. As of this point, we don't know what's happening with those medals at this point. Excuse me. But as of this point, what the hell is going on? Basically, I'm probably guessing you guys want to know because you guys are wanting to know if the U.S. is going to get gold or not. Correct? Is that?
Let me hear it.
Let's hear it.
You guys are waiting because as of this point, nothing's been revealed yet. All I know right now is my country's waiting for results on this. There's no results been given out yet. All I'm going to say is right now, my country's waiting to see if we either go on that podium or not. You guys are waiting to see if you guys get the gold.
So you're saying we beat you in figure skating teams?
Yes,
portion?
you did. You
Wow,
did this
nice.
year.
Not only
But
that,
time out. But I'm worried what's going to happen with these medals. Because the Russians were originally gold. You guys are silver.
right?
So this technically is a giant shitstorm and a half waiting to see what happens. And you want to know what's the sad part? The person who drugged is a 15-year-old girl.
Ugh. Shit.
And she's on the Russian team.
Yeah. What is
This
going
is
on?
going to be a shit show. This is going to be a shit show and a half.
And that's surreal because the United States is currently third overall in the medal table with 5 gold, 5 silver, and 1 bronze. We have 1 silver medal above the Netherlands
Mm-hmm.
and 3 above Sweden. And we trail Germany and Norway by 3 golds.
Mm-hmm. And then there's me, my nation, who's basically 4 medals away from you in 14th place with 1 gold, 4 silver, 8 bronze.
Give it time, Health.
Yeah, give it time. There's still 1 week of Olympics to go.
And
Mhm.
in that time, anything can happen. And just like anything can happen, any team, any organization has a chance for us to rip them to shreds. Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh.
it's time.
Yep. All right.
For those of you who haven't been around here before, first of all, where have you been? Second of all, this is the point in the show where we pick some teams or organizations, etc., for us to absolutely shit on, because in their cases, more than likely, they deserve it. So,
The only rule for this is basically of course, I'm going to say this from my perspective. There is a big rule here. Don't put anything political, like supremely hard political in this.
Right.
Now, with that said, I'm going to get, if you guys want, I'm going to play the anthem of the second place team, actually, again, because I'm not going to play. I'm not
Please
playing
don't.
the German.
If we get claimed,
We don't get claimed if we play the Norways. We probably will if we play the German.
Then don't play it.
All right, fine. We'll get the Jeopardy music back up.
Thank you.
Uh,
If you're able to.
yeah. All right. With that said, on your mark, get set. Think time is up. Is up and out, Adam.
What happened there? Give us
All
30
right.
more seconds, will you?
So I'll go first to buy Ducks some time, and I'm not sure about you, Health. But for me, number one, the NFL. No, yes, I know you guys have the Super Bowl, but you're still dealing with the aftermath of the Washington football team investigations. And did you really, really think that hiring your own firm to investigate it wouldn't raise suspicions? No, it only raises more suspicions when you're being congressionally investigated. And yes, you cannot promise Super Bowl tickets to Congress. Otherwise, that'll be considered bribery, and you will get more time added. Congratulations, NFL. You've stumbled on something you might not be able to recover from, and might get people criminally charged. Well done. Silver medal for me. We've discussed this way early in the podcast, but Arizona. Oh boy, Arizona. We were hoping that you wouldn't be a disaster in the desert, but you're now moving. You not only are you behind on paying rent for this year, but you're also now moving into a college hockey stadium for reasons. You guys have been a disaster for the past few years. You've been mismanaged to all heck, and let me just put it simply: good luck, because anything other than absolute failure is a miracle out of nowhere. And then as for bronze, you guys remember how the host nation in Olympic hockey tournament was it always has a team? It's no different this year. And their team has been blown out of the water. There's already controversy for them getting in because they thought the Norwegian team should be in, and they basically cobbled together whoever they could get to form a team. And the fact that they've been blown out of the water in every game so far is unsurprising and proves just why the Norwegian team should have made it in over you guys. Enjoy your L's, my friends. Alright, Duck. What's next?
All right. So, my gold medal is the Arizona Coyotes for becoming the NHL version of the San Diego / LA Chargers. Enjoy Arizona State University, aka the new StubHub Center. And the silver medal, I have the NBC Olympic coverage. Because if you recall, in the women's slalom race, there is a particular Olympian named Michaela Schifrin. And NBC has, dare I say, hyped her up to be a potential game-changing gold medalist. Guess what? She ended up performing poorly and goes off to the side and to compose herself. Rather than showing the race, they decided to show Schifrin throughout the whole entire coverage. And NBC proceeds to dunk on her and call her a disappointment. Like, why? Quit obsessing over one freaking person. The media has had that problem for years, and that's just another example of it.
Yeah,
So congratulations.
that they expected her to be the next great thing, and the hype might have gotten to her, but NBC, yeah, I can see that. That's oof. And bronze medal for you? Go ahead.
Bronze medal is the NFL and ESPN's coverage of the so-called Pro Bowl, which nobody wanted to watch because ESPN is having the same issues that I said last week about CBS, except it's not what's coming out of the speakers, it's what's not coming out of the speakers. The microphones proceeded not to work during Bruce Buffer's introduction to the Pro Bowl. All you're hearing is
Pay your audio, guys. That's all I can say.
yep. And who even watches the Pro Bowl anyways? Why would you even cover that?
Again, reminder to pay your crew, pay especially the audio guys, because if you don't, stuff like if you forget, stuff like this might very well happen. An honorable mention. I I'm trying to remember, but Pro Bowl and watch announcements. The only thing worse could be if that was on Nickelodeon. Also, help you're muted.
I think he did that on purpose.
Oh yeah. Anyways, for me, gold Coyotes. What the fuck? That's just all I'm gonna say. Silver. I'm glad that I didn't watch it, but it's the Pro Bowl coverage. Bronze is the Beijing organizers.
Explain.
Where the hell are the team figure skating medals? No ceremony? And when are you gonna do this shite?
They forgot him?
No, they haven't done them yet because of the controversy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And Zepp is down there wondering what the hell is going on.
And here's the other thing. We mentioned this earlier, but the entire Olympics in Beijing has been a disaster. I even posted a link. I gave you guys an image. Sent you guys an image of. Because I mentioned earlier about a supposed ski
This was a
slope.
true. Hang on, Zepp. I want to tell you something. The youth group that I'm with, they did a true or false thing with this. It's actually true.
So that's
Here it
it
is. Behold its majesty.
Some have accused it of being a nuclear plant. And imagine doing a ski jump, having Olympic events in the shadow of Fallout. Just imagine the dystopian strangeness of seeing the world that's already gone to chaos, and then seeing that. You can't write this stuff. And I may consider myself a decent writer, but even I couldn't write this stuff. It's that nuts.
Yeah.
Just behold this. This.
Is for
How do you even explain this?
Simple. You don't.
Exactly,
can't.
Helv.
Honorable mention for me goes to, well, a group worker.
What?
Youth group
What?
worker. Well, youth worker that's at the church that I volunteer to do youth with.
Let's keep
No.
him out of this.
Listen,
Poor
listen.
fella.
There's a specific reason. At the time
Yeah.
that she was writing up the quiz, Germany had the high up medals.
Okay.
Guess what happened? It changed during the day.
So she jinxed it.
How about that?
I basically did. I basically went, hold it, and I did check. Thursday, it was Austria at the top.
You did. Jinxing that makes me
Austria.
blush. That's great.
Austria was at the top on this last Thursday
Really?
with the most medals.
Wow. Unreal.
With 14.
All right. So let's go ahead and count them up. Obviously, the Arizona Coyotes have gotten the gold. There's no question.
I think the Pro Bowl would then get second place because we had it as both a silver and a bronze. But also the NFL, we can just lump the Pro Bowl coverage in with the NFL because that is a giant dumpster fire right now for a sadly bronze, but should feel more like more.
All right.
Because NFL, good luck. You're toast.
All right.
Look
So
back,
gold is the Coyotes. Silver is the NFL. Now, who do we choose for our bronze?
I thought we had the NBC
The NFL itself.
No, we already combined that with the Pro Bowl.
Oh, okay.
As for bronze, I think it's an easy one. The Beijing Olympics.
Let's just put the Olympics in a combined total at this point.
Yeah.
Because first of all, what are you doing? Second of all, why are you doing this? And third of all, are
Pourquoi?
you seriously doing this? Or as Health said, pourquoi?
Pourquoi? Pourquoi?
And yeah, I can say that a whole lot better than Grossi can.
Pussy.
Ooh,
Ha ha, je suis Just sweet tabernacle.
Oh no.
All right. Before we go ahead and do shout outs, I do want to say something about NBC,
Mhm.
but not about the crappy coverage, but this time it's for the Super Bowl. I'm going to pull off a hell here because the new scoreboard for Sunday Night Football and for Super Bowl 56 has been leaked. So I want to share my screen and show you guys
Gladly.
the scoreboard right now.
Let's see.
I'm doing the in-picture layout.
Here it is. What do you guys think?
Oh.
That ain't bad.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's less is more. It's pretty streamlined in keeping with the. I don't think it's Fox. I want to say CBS, but with the one where it has just that bar right in the middle, I like it. In a case
Yeah.
like this, less is more.
It's actually
and it works.
it's actually all three of them.
Yeah. Because
thinking-
Fox has been.
I think
Yeah.
the
Okay.
CBS. I'm thinking, but either way, the trend that's going on where more of the game, less in the way. Nickelodeon is the only exception to this, but NBC, you're doing it right. We approve.
Okay, time out. I'm gonna load up all of the NFL scoreboards that I can find. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually,
I
I think he has yeah, right there.
Yeah. That's the evolution of the NBC NBC one.
And we go right back to this. I actually think it's a little. I think it's beautiful in its simplicity.
That's it.
Because you got the two teams on each end, and you have the clock right in the middle.
That
It's
should
the
be
same-
like a hockey. That should also be kind of like a hockey bug too.
Either way,
Yeah.
it is again. It's the trend within the world of sports coverage. Less is more. That beautiful simplicity, as Duck mentioned.
Mhm.
That we had a Shitstain of the week. This is the inverse. This is great. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the NFL, because Fox did have a score on the top left corner of their coverage one time.
Yeah.
It showed less, and then they went back to something like that. They had the two teams on each end, and then a clock down in the bottom center.
Mhm.
This one is very simplistic. I actually like this.
Okay, guys.
Twitter is not going to be enjoying this, but then again, Twitter's a shithole anyways.
All right.
Hell.
All right. I'm gonna share my screen here too. So. Not.
Yeah, we're
no,
seeing
not
we're
that.
We're seeing what
open
you're putting
image.
up
Open
with
image
the
image.
NFL.
So this is the ESPN one, obviously. I'm gonna.
If we can, but we
Yeah.
can't see it.
There you go. That's the ESPN one. You guys don't mind that one, correct?
No, I
It's
don't,
okay.
I don't mind it.
It's decent.
It's extremely thin. What I like about it is extremely thin, and they put it down.
Mhm.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
not
Right.
Nickelodeon's.
And then here's the CBS one.
So it's the Fox I was thinking of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But still, what? Hey, all three of these look better than the one they used for the Nickelodeon bowls. I'm happy.
Oh. Thank you. And then here's
Right.
the Fox one. And here's the Fox one.
Yeah, that one I like the best personally.
Mhm.
I can
Because,
kinda
again,
see
less
your
is
point.
more.
There's
I
one
can kinda
thing. There's one thing I look forward to when a new scoreboard is introduced, and that's the
Mhm.
touchdown animations. Fox has a very awesome touchdown animation, like the big words and big bold letters. Touchdown comes in, and then you got a comic picture somewhat of the star that scored that said
Mhm.
touchdown. And then CBS, it's pretty simple. They just flash a helmet and then the big
They
bold letters,
flash the
touchdown
logo. They flash the team logo and it says touchdown.
Yeah.
Right. And NBC, before that, they had that slanted. Here,
Mhm.
if I can share my screen again,
Yeah, please do.
let me share mine. See down there in the bottom, they had this very slanted scoreboard. And when somebody scored, they would have the team logo flash for like a second, and then the whole entire slant, they would say touchdown, and then they would recap the drive. I thought that was pretty nice.
We'll see what happens with this new score bug.
I look forward to it.
I
Hopefully,
will-
we see it a lot.
And that, all right. And with that said, shout outs. I was here late, but I'm gonna let Duck kick us off for this time because I showed up late.
You got it. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you guys for coming out, especially Mayan, or however you pronounce it.
It is Mayan, yes.
Mayan. I want to thank Dodger and Ag for allowing us to promote this channel. It's been so incredible, and we recently hit up to 13 subscribers, so we are growing. We're getting more and more people, so I want to say thank you guys for that. And I want to thank Off the Wall Hockey for constantly allowing me to promote this show. It's been incredible, and hopefully it will continue to grow with every passing day. So with that, I want to say thank you.
All right.
Zep, you're up next.
Yes, and first of all, thank you to all of these subscribers and everybody who tuned in. Thank you, Maya and Ibiri, for helping join us, and also thank you to the following servers, Twitch streamers whose servers I promoted in. That being of the Raven Armed, Chloe Fluff, I'm Zeke, and also through technicality, Mommy Lucifer and Jay Bear 147. And Jay, congratulations on starting the stream. We appreciate it. And also the court community, which includes that of Jewish Princess, Doc Talks Dave, that is a mouthful. Dave, you gotta fix that. Clammy Games, Kayla the Gamer, Megs and Becky, Arcane Ryan, and Killing Form, and as well letting us promote on the servers of Mortal Pair Light and AA Gaming. To all of you who I just mentioned, thank you so much for allowing us the space in which to promote. That is a lot of names, and with as supportive as you guys have been, we do not take that lightly. Thank you all so very much.
All right. Time for me to finish. Yep, I know the deal. You screwed up.
Yes, I know. I'll play it for myself.
All right, thank you. We need. I'm glad that we kept that banner.
Don't worry. I keep it.
All right. First off, huge shout out to the guys that Duck and Zep shed on the show. Also, huge. I also got to say a huge shout out to a certain friend of mine, Jeff Stewart. Hey man, I know you're watching this stuff when it's on when we're doing when it's basically live on YouTube after the show, but I'm still grateful that you watch this, man. 100% worth it. Also, this is going to be a personal shout out for me. This Monday will be the last Risk stream that I'm going to be doing for Risk 2.1. So buckle up and enjoy this because this is going to be brutal on another half. For some teams. Who's going to die? We don't know. And with that said, thank you guys for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. And if you comment a suggestion to us, yeah, we might actually put it up on the show. And with that said, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.
Peace.
And you call it this loud?